Hey there, viewer. Hi, hello, hi. Are you ready for an awesome tale? I sure hope so, because this one's going to grab your attention and hold it tight. Imagine a sunny afternoon on a peaceful road. The sun shines high, making everything warm and cozy. Birds sing sweetly up in the branches, little chirps that sound like a happy tune. Nearby, children giggle and shout, playing games with their friends. Maybe they're chasing each other or tossing a ball back and forth. The air feels nice, soft, and full of summer smells. The sky glows with a bright blue color, not a cloud in sight. Everything seems so calm, so cheerful, like nothing big could ever happen here. But oh boy, something amazing is about to start. That's when you notice Sarah Jones. She's moving along at her own pace, slow and steady, holding a cane in her hand. She uses it to feel her way, making little sounds as it touches the ground. Dark glasses sit on her face, covering her eyes because she can't see anything around her. Right next to her walks Max, a strong German shepherd with smooth, shiny fur. He's got a black vest on, one that catches the sunlight and sparkles a bit. Together, they make a pair, step by step, side by side. People wander past them every day, some lugging heavy bags, others zooming by on bikes or pushing strollers with babies inside. Most don't even wave or say hi. They just keep going, busy with their own stuff. They look at Sarah and think she's just a lady who needs help to get around. They see Max and figure he's only there to guide her along. But here's the coolest part, the secret that's going to surprise you: Sarah and Max aren't what they seem. Nope, not at all. Something incredible is hiding inside them, waiting to come out. Before we dive into this fun adventure, I want to chat with you for a moment. Yep, you, the awesome person reading this right now. Hi again. I've got a little favor to ask. Could you drop a quick note in the comments below? Tell me where you're at today, like, are you in your living room with a comfy blanket? Maybe you're sitting outside in a park, feeling the grass under your feet? Or are you snuggled up in bed with a snack? I'd love to hear about it. Oh, and one more thing, if you like stories where the small person beats the odds and comes out on top, then please smash that subscribe button. It's super easy, just find the button that says subscribe and give it a tap. That way, you'll catch every exciting tale I share. Promise you won't miss out. Now, here's a fun question for you to think about. Picture this in your head: what would you do if a bunch of tough bikers started teasing someone they thought was weak? Like, imagine some big guys with loud motorcycles, zooming around, laughing and pointing at someone who looks small or helpless. Would you try to stop them? Would you cheer for the person to fight back? Would you hide and watch from far away? Take a second to think about it, I'll wait. Maybe you can share your answer later in the comments. This question's important because it's tied to what's coming next. This story's about to get loud and thrilling, so don't wander off. Hold that thought tight, because the excitement's just starting. Let's go back to that peaceful scene for a bit. Sarah's still strolling along, her cane brushing the pavement with a gentle noise. Max moves beside her, his paws landing softly with every step. Flowers grow near a house, their colors popping red, yellow, purple, and a light breeze carries their sweet smell through the air. A man in a blue uniform slides envelopes into a mailbox, humming a little song. Up in a tree, a squirrel races along a branch, clutching a nut like it's a tiny treasure. Everything feels so normal, so everyday. Nobody expects anything wild to happen. They catch a glimpse of Sarah and Max, then turn away, caught up in their own plans like going to the store or heading home for lunch. To them, she's just a regular lady who can't see, and he's a helper wearing a vest. Nothing special, nothing to stare at. But you and me? We're different. We know there's a big surprise hiding, ready to burst out and change everything. It's like a present waiting to be unwrapped, and it's going to shake up this sunny day. Can you feel the buzz yet? Stay with me, this is only the beginning. Let's zoom in a little closer. Sarah's not super tall or tiny, she's just right, like most folks. She's wearing a plain blue shirt and jeans, nothing fancy or loud. Her brown hair's pulled back neatly, tied with a little band. She doesn't stand out or shout for attention, she blends in, happy to keep things simple. Max, though. He's a beauty. His fur shines like it's polished, smooth and soft under the sun. That black vest fits him perfectly, like it was made just for him. People don't stop to look at it too long. They assume he's there to help Sarah find her way, and that's that. But if they took a closer peek, if they really stopped to wonder, they might notice something different. They might start asking questions. And we're the lucky ones, because we're about to find out the answers. Sarah and Max have been around this area for a while. Maybe a few months, maybe longer, who knows. They're part of the everyday sights here. A lady watering her plants nods at them sometimes. The mailman tips his hat as he passes by. Kids riding scooters zoom close and yell, "Hey, cool pup," before speeding off. Everyone knows who they are, but nobody really knows them. They don't chat about where Sarah came from or what she likes to do. They don't wonder about Max beyond his job of guiding her. To them, it's all plain and simple. But we've got the inside scoop, don't we? We know there's more to the story, something waiting to jump out and surprise everyone. It's like a game of hide and seek, and the best part's about to be found. Let's imagine you're standing there, right on that peaceful road. The sun warms your skin, nice and gentle. A soft wind brushes past, carrying the smell of grass and blossoms. You hear those birds chirping their happy songs, and the kids laughing as they play. Then you see Sarah and Max coming your way. Her cane makes a little sound on the ground, steady and sure. Max steps along beside her, calm and strong. If you didn't know better, you might think, "Ah, that's sweet, a lady and her helper." That's what everyone else thinks too. They don't look twice. But we're smarter than that. We know this isn't just an ordinary moment. Something big is tucked away, waiting to pop out and turn this calm afternoon into something wild. Can you guess what it might be? I'll give you a tiny clue. It's all about Max. Yep, that strong pup is the star of the secret. But I'm not spilling it yet, gotta keep you curious. What do you think's hiding behind those dark glasses and that shiny vest? Take a wild guess. Is Sarah secretly super strong? Does Max know tricks nobody expects? Is something crazy about to crash into this peaceful day? I won't tell you the whole truth just yet, that'd spoil the fun. You've got to stick around, keep imagining, because the best surprise is coming up soon. When it hits, you'll be like, "No way. That's so cool." That's my goal, viewer, to make you smile and cheer. This tale's going to twist and turn, and you're going to love every second of it. Let's hang out with Sarah and Max a bit more. They're still moving along, easy and slow. The sunlight dances on Max's vest, making it gleam. Sarah's got a small grin, like she's enjoying the fresh air. Max looks content too, his ears twitch a little, catching every sound. They're a perfect team, working together like best buddies. If you saw them, you might not think much of it, just a lady and her helper, out for a walk. That's what the neighbors see every day. They don't stop to wonder or peek closer. But we're not like them. We're on the edge of something huge, something that's going to flip this normal scene upside down. The breeze, the birds, the laughter, it's all about to get drowned out by a big, thrilling moment. Get ready, because it's almost time. Hey, viewer, don't forget that question I asked: what would you do if tough bikers started teasing someone they thought was weak? Keep it in your mind as we go. Would you stand up to them? Would you hope the little guy had a plan? Would you watch and wait? It's a fun thing to think about, because guess what, bikers are coming into the story soon. Big, loud, tough ones, with engines that growl and attitudes that stink. They're going to wish they'd never crossed paths with Sarah and Max. It's going to be so exciting, you won't believe it. Let's take one last peek at this peaceful road. The sun's still beaming, the flowers still sway, the kids still shout with joy. Sarah's cane brushes the pavement, and Max walks smoothly beside her. People pass by, caught up in their own worlds, heading to work, grabbing groceries, or chasing after pets. They see Sarah and Max and think nothing of it, just another day, another walk. But you and I? We're in on the fun. We know something's brewing, something that's going to burst out and make everyone gasp. This sunny afternoon's about to get shaken up, and we've got front row seats. Don't go anywhere, because this story's just kicking off, and it's going to be a blast. Alright, viewer, let's keep going. It's a regular Tuesday, and the lady with the cane is out walking again. Her furry friend stays close, padding along beside her. The sun shines high overhead, stretching long shadows across the pavement. Everything feels peaceful, birds chirp, a soft breeze rustles the leaves, and the day hums along nicely. But then, out of nowhere, a deep rumble shakes the calm. Engines snarl like wild animals waking up. A group of rough riders speeds into sight, their motorcycles gleaming under the daylight. These guys are huge, decked out in dark jackets with colorful patches sewn on. Shiny chains hang from their waists, catching the sun with little flashes. Leading them is a guy named Spike, sporting a messy beard and a nasty smirk. He notices the woman crossing his path and eases his bike to a crawl, wheels squealing faintly. "Hey, you," he hollers, his tone cutting like a knife. "Speed up, or we'll zoom right over you." His pals snicker, weaving their machines around her like pesky bugs. The lady doesn't flinch. She keeps strolling, cool as a cucumber, while her pup stands firm, ears twitching upward. Spike leans closer, his face twisting into a mean grin. "What's wrong? Can't spot us coming?" he teases, flicking an empty can from his pocket. It bangs onto the ground near the dog's paws with a sharp clatter. The crew bursts into laughter, thinking they've spooked her good. They wait for her to trip or cry out for them to quit. But her? She's steady as a rock. Her companion doesn't move an inch either. His gaze fixes on Spike, eyes sharp and piercing. The riders miss how his muscles stiffen, how his fluffy tail freezes mid-air. They're too caught up chuckling, too certain they've got the upper hand. What slips past them is the fire growing inside this pair. Something big stirring, and it's about to sneak up on them fast. Spike twists his throttle, sending a booming roar into the air. "Get moving, Snail," he yells, flapping his arm like he rules the whole place. His buddies chime in, their rides buzzing and spitting gray clouds. A woman peeking from her porch yanks her curtains closed, hiding quick. A kid on a scooter freezes, staring with wide eyes, jaw dropping. Nobody dares step forward. Those guys seem too strong, too frightening. The lady tilts her head a bit, catching every sound around her. Her pup adjusts his stance, pressing his paws deeper into the earth. The gang figures they've scared her silly, that they've proven who's in charge. But they've chosen the wrong person to mess with. A surprise is bubbling up, something they'd never guess. The air grows heavy, buzzing with excitement. Can you feel it, viewer? Hang on tight, because this is just the beginning. Let's zoom in on this moment. The sun still blazes, painting the scene with golden light. That deep rumble from the engines fills the space, bouncing off houses nearby. The leader, Spike, sits tall on his bike, his jacket flapping as he glares ahead. His beard looks wild, like he hasn't brushed it in days, and his smirk says he loves trouble. His friends circle closer, their wheels spinning, leaving faint marks on the ground. They're a noisy bunch, shouting and hooting like they own every inch of this path. The lady they're teasing? She's calm, moving forward one step at a time, her cane brushing the pavement with a soft scrape. Her dark glasses hide her eyes, but her face stays peaceful. Her furry partner matches her pace, his sleek coat shining, his vest snug against his chest. Those riders don't scare them, not one bit. Spike tosses another jab. "Hey, Grandma, you're blocking our way," he snaps, his voice loud enough to echo. His crew giggles again, nudging each other like it's a big joke. One of them revs his machine extra hard, making it cough a puff of smoke. They think this lady's helpless, that she'll panic and run off. But she doesn't budge. She keeps her cool, steady as ever. Her pup doesn't blink either. His stare cuts through the noise, locked on Spike like a laser. The gang misses the clues, how his ears stand taller, how his body tenses up, ready for action. They're too busy acting tough, too sure they've got her trapped. What they don't see is the strength building inside her and her friend. A storm's brewing, and it's about to flip their world upside down. The engines growl louder now, shaking the ground beneath. Spike waves his hand again, acting like a king giving orders. "Move it, or we'll make you," he barks, grinning wide. His pals join the fun, their bikes humming like a swarm of bees. A lady across the way peeks out her window, then ducks back fast, too nervous to watch. A boy nearby drops his scooter, staring with his mouth open, too stunned to move. Nobody steps up. Those riders look mean, like they'd squash anyone who tries. The woman lifts her chin just a touch, listening close to the chaos. Her pup shifts slightly, claws digging into the dirt, holding his ground. The gang's sure they've won this little game, that they've shown everyone who's boss. But they're so wrong. Something's coming their way, Something wild and unexpected? The tension's thick now. Can you feel the buzz, viewer? Don't blink, because it's heating up. Let's paint this picture again. The sunlight pours down, warm and bright, making the riders' chains sparkle like tiny stars. Their jackets flap in the breeze they create, patches flashing red, blue, yellow. Spike's in front, his messy beard bouncing as he yells. His bike's shiny, all black and silver, rumbling like thunder. His friends weave around, their machines snarling and snapping, kicking up dust. The lady they're picking on? She's still calm, strolling along like nothing's wrong. Her cane slides across the pavement, guiding her forward. Her glasses stay dark, her expression smooth. Her furry buddy sticks by her, his fur smooth and glossy, his vest catching the light. These two don't rattle easy, not even with all this noise and nonsense around them. Spike leans forward again, his voice sharp as a whip. "You're too slow, lady," he shouts, tossing another can. It bounces near her pup's feet, clanging loud. The crew cracks up, slapping their knees, thinking they're so clever. They expect her to jump or yell for help. But nope, she's cool as ice. Her friend doesn't twitch either, his eyes stay glued to Spike, steady and fierce. The riders don't catch how his posture shifts, how his breathing slows, like he's planning something. They're too caught up in their own fun, too certain they're untouchable. What's slipping past them is the power hiding in this pair. A big twist is coming, and it's going to hit them like a bolt from the sky. The noise ramps up even more. Spike twists his handle, making his engine bellow deep and strong. "Hurry it up, turtle," he calls, waving both arms now, acting like he's the biggest deal around. His pals rev their rides too, filling the air with growls and fumes. A woman on her porch shuts her door tight, too spooked to peek. A kid with a ball stops playing, staring wide-eyed at the scene. Nobody dares get close, those guys seem too rough, too wild. The lady tilts her head a little, catching every shout and rumble. Her pup adjusts his stance, pressing harder into the ground, ready for anything. The gang's laughing, thinking they've got her cornered. But they've messed with the wrong team. Something's about to break loose, something they can't even dream of. The air's buzzing now. Can you feel the thrill, viewer? Stick around, because this is just getting good. Alright, viewer, let's keep this story rolling. Days passed by, one after another, and those noisy riders didn't quit their mean tricks. Whenever the lady with the cane stepped out to head to the shop or rested on her front steps, they'd come zooming past, making a big fuss. Their engines growled deep and loud, shaking the air. "Get lost from our place, you and your silly pup," their leader, Spike, shouted one sunny afternoon. His voice sounded rough, like gravel crunching under boots. He even spat on the ground, a wet glob landing close to her shoes, just to be nasty. Folks living nearby peeked through their curtains or cracked their windows a tiny bit, watching it all happen. But nobody said a peep, they kept their lips shut tight. Why? Because Spike and his crew scared them silly. No one wanted to tangle with those tough guys and their shiny machines. The lady never tossed a single word back at them. Not once. She just tipped her head a little, like she was catching every sound they made, listening real close. Her furry friend, though. He was different. His sharp eyes stuck to those riders like a bird of prey tracking something tasty. He didn't blink or look away, he followed their every move, steady and calm. One day, a small boy playing nearby tugged his mom's sleeve and whispered low, "That pup looks strong. Like he could tussle with anybody." His mom put a finger to her lips, hushing him quick, scared someone might hear. But that kid. He hit the nail right on the head. That dog wasn't just lounging around or napping in the sun, he was paying attention, watching everything super carefully. Then, one big moment came along, and it flipped the whole tale upside down. Spike and his gang rolled right up to the lady's house, their machines rumbling harder than a thunderstorm. The noise bounced off the walls, so loud it made your ears buzz. "Time to show you who's boss," Spike called out, his voice sharp and mean. He bent down, snatched a stick off the grass, and waved it high above his head. He laughed loud, a cackle that echoed around, as he took a few steps closer to her. The lady rose to her feet, slow and easy, her hand wrapping tight around her pup's leash. Those riders were too busy grinning and chuckling to spot what was happening. They didn't see how her dog's body stiffened, muscles bulging under his sleek fur. They didn't catch how his mouth shifted, lips peeling back just a smidge, showing off pointy white teeth that gleamed in the light. Something was brewing, and it was about to get wild. Let's zoom in on those days for a sec, viewer. Picture the sun climbing up each morning, painting the sky with soft pinks and yellows. The lady would grab her cane, step outside, and start her walk to the store down the path. Her pup stayed right beside her, his vest catching the sunshine, making it sparkle. Most times, it was peaceful, birds chirped, a breeze rustled the trees, and everything felt nice. But then, those riders would show up, tearing through the calm like a big storm. Their wheels spun fast, kicking up pebbles, and their engines snorted like angry bulls. Spike, with his messy beard and dark jacket, loved leading the charge. He'd holler rude stuff, like, "Go away, you slowpoke," or "This ain't your spot." His pals would hoot and clap, egging him on, thinking they were so clever. The lady stayed cool as ice. She didn't shout back or stomp her feet. Nope, she'd just tilt her chin a bit, like she was tuning into every word they threw her way. Her furry buddy didn't yap or growl either. He'd sit or stand there, calm as could be, but his eyes? They never left those guys. They tracked every swerve of their bikes, every flap of their jackets in the wind. Neighbors saw it all from behind their glass panes, peeking out like curious cats. They'd whisper to each other, "Those fellas are at it again," but nobody dared step outside. Spike's crew looked too big, too loud, too everything. People figured it was safer to stay hidden and let it pass. One afternoon stood out, though. The lady was on her porch, resting in a chair, soaking up the warm day. Her pup lounged nearby, his head resting on his paws, looking sleepy. Then, that familiar rumble started up low at first, then growing bigger. The riders sped by, their machines gleaming under the sun. Spike slowed down just enough to lean over and yell, "You don't belong here, lady." He spat again, a gross blob hitting the dirt near her steps. His friends laughed, slapping their thighs, thinking it was the funniest thing ever. She didn't move a muscle, just tipped her head like always, taking it all in. Her dog lifted his chin, eyes narrowing as he watched them peel away. A little girl across the way saw it and tugged her dad's hand. "That pup's not happy," she said soft. Her dad pulled her inside quick, but she was spot on. Something was ticking inside that dog, slow and steady. Days turned into more days, and the pattern kept going. The lady would head out maybe to grab bread or milk, and those riders would swoop in, making a racket. "Take your mutt and scram," Spike would call, his voice cutting through the breeze. He'd wave his arms or toss little junk, like wrappers or sticks, just to be a pest. His gang loved it, cheering him on like it was a game. Folks nearby stayed hushed, watching from their safe spots. They didn't want any part of that mess. Those guys seemed too wild to mess with. But the lady? She never flinched. She'd listen, her head cocked a touch, soaking up every rude shout. Her pup stayed glued to her side, his gaze locked on the troublemakers, sharp and focused like a hunter. Then came that huge day, the one that changed it all. The sun was high, the air warm and still. The lady sat on her porch again, her cane leaning nearby. Her furry friend rested close, his ears perked just a little. Suddenly, the ground shook with that deep, rumbling sound. Spike and his pals rolled up, closer than ever, their engines snorting and puffing. "We're done playing nice," Spike bellowed, hopping off his bike. He grabbed a chunky stick from the yard, swinging it around like a toy, his laugh bouncing off the house. He took bold steps toward her, his boots thumping loud. She stood up real slow, her fingers curling around her pup's leash. The gang kept chuckling, too caught up in their fun to notice anything odd. They didn't see how her dog's shoulders tightened, how his jaw shifted, showing a peek of those shiny fangs. Trouble was coming, and they had no clue. All right, viewer, this is it, the moment everything explodes into awesomeness. The rough guy with the messy beard, Spike, lifted his stick way up high. He held it tight, ready to wave it around and spook the lady even more. His grin was wide and nasty, like he thought he'd won already. The sun beat down, hot and bright, making his jacket shine with sweat. His pals stood close, chuckling, and waiting for the fun. But then bam, something huge happened, faster than a snap of your fingers. The lady's voice sliced through all the noise, clear and strong, even though it wasn't loud. She said just two little words, "Pup, now. In a heartbeat, her furry friend leaped into action. He didn't yap or snarl like most dogs, nope, he just charged forward, quick as lightning. Before anyone could even blink, he opened his mouth and chomped down on that stick Spike was holding. With one fast bite crack, he broke it clean in two, like it was nothing but a dry twig. The pieces fell to the ground, bouncing in the dirt. Spike tripped backward, his boots slipping as he tried to catch his balance. His eyes popped wide, bigger than coins, and his jaw dropped. "What the?" he stammered, his voice all shaky and confused. He couldn't believe what he'd just seen. That strong pup stood up straight, tall, and proud, his sleek coat glowing under the sunlight. His black vest sparkled, catching everyone's eye. One of the riders, a guy with a squinting face, leaned in close and stared at the tiny letters sewn onto that vest. He read them slow, his lips moving as he figured it out, Retired Navy SEAL K-9 Unit. Whoa! The whole gang stopped dead in their tracks, like statues frozen in place. Their mouths hung open, and their hands dropped to their sides. The lady gave a small smile, her first one all day, soft but sure. "You picked the wrong person to tease," she said, her words steady and calm. "My buddy here isn't just a helper for me. He's a champion. And he doesn't like meanies one bit." Spike tried to act cool, forcing out a weak laugh, like it was no big deal. "Ha, whatever," he mumbled, but his voice cracked, and his face turned pale. The pup took one step closer, slow and steady, his paws pressing into the earth. Then, he let out a deep, rumbling sound from his chest, not loud, but strong enough to make the air shake. That growl hit the riders like a punch, and their legs started wobbling. They'd thought the lady was weak, someone they could push around easy. They'd figured her furry pal was just a regular pet, good for nothing but following her. Oh boy, were they so wrong. Let's zoom in on that wild moment, viewer. Picture it: the sun's blazing overhead, turning the pavement hot under everyone's feet. Spike's still holding half a broken stick, his arm shaking a little now. His jacket flaps as he stumbles back, his messy beard bouncing with every step. His pals stand behind him, their shiny machines parked in a messy line, engines quiet for once. They'd been laughing just a second ago, but now their faces look blank, like they forgot how to smile. The lady stands calm and tall, her dark glasses hiding her eyes, her cane resting by her side. Her pup's right in front, his head high, his vest gleaming like a badge of honor. That little growl he made. It's still echoing, low and fierce, making everyone feel it in their bones. Spike blinks fast, trying to figure out what just happened. He'd been so sure of himself, swinging that stick like a big shot. He thought he'd scare her, make her jump or run off. But now, he's the one who looks scared. His crew stares at the pup, then at the words on his vest: Retired Navy SEAL K-9 Unit. One guy whispers, "What's that mean?" Another mutters, "I think it's something bad for us." They're right, this isn't just any dog. This is a hero, a fighter who's seen big things, trained to be brave and strong. And he's not happy with them at all. The lady's smile grows a tiny bit wider, like she's been waiting for this. "My pal's more than you thought," she says again, her voice smooth like water. "He helps me every day, sure, but he's also a star. Mess with us, and you'll see." Her words aren't loud or mean, they're just true. The pup shifts his weight, his eyes locked on Spike, sharp and steady. That growl rumbles again, soft but deep, like thunder far away. The riders feel it in their chests, and their knees shake harder. They'd been so cocky, zooming around, yelling rude stuff. They thought she was nothing, that her buddy was just a lazy pet. Nope, big mistake. Let's paint the scene one more time, viewer. The air's warm, the sun's bright, and the ground's still buzzing from that stick snapping. Spike's backed up now, almost tripping over his own feet, his broken stick dangling useless in his hand. His pals huddle close, their jackets flapping in the breeze, their faces pale and worried. The lady stands there, cool as a breeze, her hand resting on her pup's leash. Her furry friend towers in front, his coat smooth and shiny, his vest flashing those special words for all to see. Neighbors peek out from their houses, eyes wide, watching this showdown unfold. They'd seen the riders acting big all this time, but now they're starting to grin, because something amazing's happening. Spike tries one last laugh, a shaky ha, but it sounds fake, like he's forcing it out. He wipes his sweaty hands on his pants, glancing at his crew for help. They don't move, they're too stunned, staring at the pup like he's a monster from a story. That growl comes again, rolling low and steady, and Spike's laugh dies fast. The lady's voice rings out once more, clear and firm. You thought I couldn't do anything. You thought he was just a pet. Look again. She's not mad, she's just telling it like it is. Her pup steps forward another inch, his teeth still peeking out, white and sharp. The rider's boots shuffle back, their confidence gone, melted away like ice in the sun. This is the big twist, viewer. They'd been so wrong about everything. They saw her cane, her glasses, and figured she was easy to tease. They saw her pup's vest and thought he was just there to walk with her. But now the truth's out, he's a Navy SEAL dog, a real deal hero who's faced tough stuff before. And her? She's tougher than they ever guessed, standing tall with her champion by her side. Spike's eyes dart around, looking for a way out. His pals whisper to each other, we're in trouble now. They're right, this pup doesn't mess around, and neither does she. They picked the wrong fight, and it's hitting them hard. Hey, viewer, we're at the end of this wild ride now. Those noisy riders didn't stay put for long after their big scare. The leader, Spike, the one with the scruffy beard and loud voice, lost all his bravado real quick. He let go of acting big and brave, his hands fumbling as he dashed back to his shiny motorcycle. Let's get out of here fast, he shouted, his words shaky and high. His pals didn't waste a second, they leaped onto their rides too, engines buzzing like mad bees. Their tires screeched loud on the street, a squeaky sound that made you wince. They sped off in a hurry, kicking up clouds of dusty air that floated around. All their swagger, all their confidence, it was gone, left behind like junk they didn't want anymore. Folks watching from their front steps couldn't hold back, they stepped out, clapping their hands and hollering with joy. They were so excited for the lady with the cane and her furry champ. The news of what happened zipped through town faster than a race car. People started chatting at the market, whispering by their fences, and sharing it with friends over snacks. Before the day was out, everyone had heard those loud guys who loved trouble had picked on the wrong pair and ran off scared. After that, nobody even thought about teasing the woman with the dark glasses again. She and her pup went back to their calm strolls, moving easy along the paths they knew so well. But things weren't the same anymore, they were way better. Neighbors didn't just walk by with their heads down now. They'd lift a hand high to say hi or call out, "Nice day, huh," with big, happy grins. Kids would peek over their yards, waving fast and giggling. Some folks got extra sweet, they'd leave little goodies by her door, like crunchy biscuits or chewy bones, all for her four-legged hero. He'd sniff them out, wag his fluffy tail, and munch away, looking pleased as punch. And that guy Spike, the one with the messy hair and mean smirk? Well, people started saying he couldn't face the shame. Stories floated around that he got rid of his motorcycle, sold it cheap to someone far off, and packed his bags. They say he moved to a new spot, a place where nobody knew who he was or what went down. He didn't want folks pointing and laughing about how he bolted like a frightened bunny. Nobody spotted him again after that, and honestly, nobody cared much either. The town felt fresher, happier, like a grumpy shadow had lifted and floated away for good. The lady didn't need to talk a bunch about it. She stayed quiet, letting her actions and her pups tell the tale. That furry buddy of hers? He didn't yap a lot, but when he let out a low rumble from his chest, it said everything. Together, they showed the whole neighborhood something super cool. What you see on the outside can trick you, but what's inside, the real power? That's what matters most. They proved it right there, and nobody who saw it would ever forget. Let's picture that moment again, viewer. The riders are gone now, their engines just a faint hum disappearing in the distance. The dusty clouds settle slow, drifting back to the ground like soft snow. The sun shines warm again, lighting up the path with a golden glow. People step out onto their porches, still buzzing with glee. Did you see how fast they ran? One lady calls to her friend, clapping her hands loud. That pup sent them packing. Another guy chuckles, nodding his head, they won't dare come back now, no way. Kids bounce out too, hopping around and pretending to growl like the brave dog they just watched. The woman with the cane stands there a sec, cool and steady, then starts strolling again. Her furry pal stays right beside her, his head held high, his vest catching the light like a shiny medal. They head toward home together, peaceful and strong, like nothing ever rattled them. Days roll on, and life slips back to its usual rhythm, but a nicer one. The lady and her pup take their walks every morning, same as always. Only now, folks pay attention. A man watering his plants looks up and waves, "Hey, you two are awesome." A girl riding her scooter slows down, grinning wide, "Your dog's the coolest ever." Even the mailman, who's usually rushing around, stops to say, "You've got a real winner there." And those goodies? They keep showing up, little piles of treats left by the door. Sometimes it's a big bone, sometimes a handful of biscuits, all for the champ with the wagging tail. He sniffs each one, gives a happy huff, and chows down while the lady smiles soft nearby. Spike's name fades away little by little. At first, folks giggled about him, how he turned white as a sheet and zoomed off like a scared mouse. He thought he was the king, a shopkeeper says, shaking his head with a laugh. But he didn't know who he was up against. Soon, though, people stop mentioning him altogether. He's just an old tale, something to bring up when there's nothing else to chat about. Some say he's in a new town, trying to act big again, but nobody here cares. Back in this place, the spotlight's on the lady and her pup, the ones who stood tall and won without even making a fuss. She doesn't show off or brag. She doesn't have to. Her calm way says it all, and her furry friend backs her up with his steady presence. When he lets out a little rumble, just a quiet one, it's like he's saying, "We're good." And they are. They showed everyone that day that looks can play games with your eyes. Someone might seem small or weak when you first see them, but inside, that's where the real strength hides. It's not about shouting or flashing around, it's about being solid, brave, and true. That's what they proved, and it stuck with every single person who watched it go down. Let's imagine you're standing there, viewer, right on that path as it all winds up. The air's fresh again, no more dust or racket from those riders. The sun feels nice on your skin, and you hear birds chirping once more, singing their happy tunes. People talk and laugh, still amazed at what they saw. "That dog's a hero," a kid yells, bouncing with excitement. "Yeah, and she's tougher than anybody," an older lady adds, nodding proud. You watch the woman and her pup head off, their shadows stretching long behind them. They don't hurry or fuss, just keep moving, calm and sure. You can't help but grin, because they did something so cool without even trying hard. Time keeps going, and the story spreads bigger. Kids tell it at school, acting it out, some pretending to be the riders speeding away, others rumbling like the pup. Grown UPS share it over lemonade, saying, "That's what you get for picking on the wrong team." The lady and her furry friend become a little famous, but not in a noisy way. People just like them more, look up to them more. They see her cane and his vest in a new light now, not as signs of being weak, but as marks of something special. And those treats keep coming: bones, biscuits, even a little squeaky toy once. The pup sniffs each gift, wags his tail fast, and enjoys his prize, while the lady smiles quiet, happy to let him shine. Spike? He's long gone now. Some folks heard he sold his ride for almost nothing, too ashamed to keep it. Others say he moved to a tiny dot far away, hoping nobody there knew his old ways. Either way, he's not part of this town anymore. Things are better without him, and everyone nods at that. The focus stays on the real stars: the lady who stayed cool and the pup who stood strong. They didn't need fancy speeches or big battles. They just showed up, held their spot, and let the truth come out. And that truth? It's easy, what you see isn't always what's real. Real power's deeper, and they had it from the start. Hey there, viewer. We've made it to the end, and I've got something cool to share before we wave goodbye. Here's the big idea: sometimes the strongest champs don't look strong at all. The lady with the cane? She might have seemed small or easy to push around. Her furry pal? He might have looked like just a regular pup with a vest. But guess what? They had a secret power nobody saw coming. They surprised everyone, turned everything upside down, and showed what they were really made of. So next time you spot someone getting teased or picked on, stop and think for a sec. Maybe, just maybe, they've got a hero hiding nearby, ready to flip the game and win big. Isn't that awesome to imagine? What about you? Could you stand up to Amina like that lady and her pup did? I'm super curious. Drop your answer down below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you'd do. Oh, and if this tale got your heart jumping or made you smile, give it a big thumbs up. Share it with a buddy too, so they can enjoy it just like you. Stick around, because I'll see you in the next fun story. Let's chat about this a little more, viewer. Picture the world out there: your school, your park, your street. Sometimes you see kids or people who don't look like they can fight back. Maybe they're quiet, or they're smaller than the rest. You might think, oh, they can't do much. But hold on, this story shows that's not always true. The lady didn't seem like a big deal at first. Her pup looked like he was just there to help her walk. But inside, they were tough as nails, ready to surprise anyone who tried to mess with them. It's like finding a tiny seed that grows into a giant tree. You don't expect it, but it happens. So when you see someone getting pushed around, don't count them out. They might have their own secret strength, waiting to shine. Think about that idea again, okay? It's pretty neat. The lady and her furry friend didn't need to shout or show off. They just stayed calm, waited for the right moment, and then bam, they showed everyone what they could do. That's real power, the kind that sneaks up and makes you go, whoa. Maybe there's someone out there right now, looking small or shy, but they've got a spark inside, ready to light up. Next time you're walking around, keep your eyes open. Watch the people who don't make a big fuss. They might be the ones with the coolest surprises up their sleeves. Let's imagine you're in a spot like that, viewer. Say some loud kid at school starts picking on someone quieter. They're laughing, acting all big, thinking they're the boss. You're watching from the side. What do? Do you step in and say, hey, knock it off? Do you wait and see if the quiet kid has a trick to fight back? Or do you cheer inside, hoping they've got a hidden champ ready to jump out? That's what this story makes you wonder. The lady and her pup didn't back down. They stood tall and turned it all around. Could you be brave like that? I bet you could. Tell me your thoughts down below. I'm excited to see what you say. This tale's got a lesson that sticks with you, doesn't it? It's all about looking deeper. The lady might have walked slow with her cane, and her pup might have seemed like just a helper. But they had guts, heart, and a big surprise that shut those noisy riders up fast. It's like a reminder: don't judge people by what's on the outside. The real stuff, the strong stuff, hides underneath. So when you're out there, meeting new kids or seeing old friends, think about what's inside them. Maybe they're tougher than they look, just waiting for their chance to shine bright. Let's play with that thought some more, viewer. Imagine you're at the playground, and someone's teasing a kid who doesn't talk much. The teaser's loud, waving their arms, thinking they're in charge. But then, that quiet kid does something amazing. Maybe they kick a ball super far or stand up and say something smart. Everyone's jaws drop, and the teaser slinks away, surprised. That's what this story's about. The lady and her pup were like that quiet kid. They didn't look like much, but they had power nobody expected. It's a cool thing to keep in your head. Everyone's got something special, even if it's hiding at first. What do you think about standing up, viewer? Could you be the one to help someone out? Maybe you've got your own secret strength, like the lady and her furry pal. Maybe you're good at making people laugh, or you're super fast, or you know just what to say to stop a mean. I want to hear all about it. Pop your ideas in the comments. I'm waiting to read them. And if this story made you feel pumped up, hit that thumbs up button. Pass it to a friend too, so they can feel the excitement with you. We'll catch up again soon with another fun tale. Let's take this idea one more step, okay? Think about your own day. Maybe you see someone getting laughed at because they're different, they wear funny shoes, or they're shy. At first, you might think, oh, they can't do anything about it. But wait, this story says different. The lady and her pup didn't look like fighters, but they turned out to be the strongest of all. So maybe that kid with the funny shoes has a talent you don't know about. Maybe they're awesome at drawing or running or helping others. Next time you see someone like that, give them a chance. They might have their own hero moment waiting to happen. This is the big takeaway, viewer, and it's so cool. The lady and her pup showed us that real strength isn't about looking big or loud. It's about what's in your heart, what you've got inside when it counts. Those riders thought they were the kings, zooming around and acting mean. But the lady and her furry friend? They had the real power, the kind that doesn't need to brag. So when you're out there, don't just look at what's easy to see. Look deeper. Maybe the quietest kid, the smallest one, has the biggest spark. That's what makes life fun, finding those surprises. Let's wrap this up with a little challenge, viewer. Next time you're with your friends or at school, think about this story. If someone's getting teased, ask yourself, what would the lady and her pup do? Would they stay calm and show their strength? Could you do that too? I think you've got it in you. Share your answer in the comments. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And if this tale got you excited, give it a thumbs up and send it to someone you like. We'll meet again soon for another adventure. See you then.